All right, guys, today's video is island planting. I'm ready to remove all this taller stuff, and I'm going to consider this what I call smart mixing based on soil test needs. So we're changing the amount of mixing. I'm going very heavy on buckwheat up here this year. I need phosphorus, and these guys are great at unlocking this in your soil. So I'm going to plant a very high amount of buckwheat. Most likely that whole bag will be used to cover, which is a very heavy rate for a 1/4 acre plot. I'm also going to install more Milo again. Remember last year I was talking about we're climbing the ladder of success year by year. So this time around, I'm going to install more Milo again. We have a few different conditions than the previous set of Milo. One is we have more light coming in from over here now. I've also, stripped this tree, and it's definitely opened up the lighting in here, especially over here now. Good solid beams coming in. Back here in the back, that is looking much better light wise. So there's more opportunity for success with light increases in here a little bit year by year. So hopefully, down the road, a few more of these trees can get removed, and that could change a lot around here. But I just have to wait for that permission to be given. Another thing that I'm doing is making sure that we are legume heavy. Soil test indicated more legumes, which I definitely agree with. So like the clover in here is trying to do its thing, but I need my spring and summer, which will be the Eagle Seed soybean. Most of this will be deer vetch. The bean will be scattered. I'm not going heavy soybean up here. I'm trying to conserve what phosphorus I can. And I will be adding lots of sun hemp to increase more nitrogen output. I'm also going to put some peanuts up here. Why not? We need some more legumes. So this is another legume that I can introduce to help break up the soil and make it softer or more root friendly. What I'll do here, this is that experimental summer blend that I've shown before. And that's got a bacteria coating on it. So I will probably just throw 1 or 2 handfuls of that out. And that will add more legumes and many different types of plants, a few sunflowers, mostly different types of peas. But anything I can do here where I'm trying to benefit this soil to take it to the next step. Okra, I need something with deep roots. Okra can do that, and I will try to use a deeper rooted plant to help pull nutrients up a little bit more shallower. That way you can have faster, better growth. So there's a lot of techniques that you can do here to try to improve this horrible soil. So right now I'm doing this totally different. I'm broadcasting first. And then I'm going to till under next. So I'm not going to bore you to death with broadcasting. It's pretty simple. You can either use your hand or this guy here, whatever you have available. The seeds, the pouches that go over your chest, those are fantastic. I do intend to get one. It's just right now I don't. I've been spending money on other equipment as priority 1, and we'll get the other stuff at a later time. But yes, this is definitely something I am focused on. So it's not just going to throw out something and hope it works here. This is intent to improve soil, make it better, and get these deer bigger. So hang tight, guys. I will show you the finished product and do a little more discussion. Hang tight. All right, tilling and planting is done with. This new tiller was definitely turning up some rocks that were not found by the old tiller. I believe the old tiller was at the point to where it was almost skipping over some of these. So it got some big ones out of here, which is good. This area of the ground needs as much root help as it possibly can get. So everything's planted. I try to do as much one passing as possible. There are some overlapping tills in here. And there were spots like right over here that I did something a little differently. And that was, I decided to sink the tiller just a little deeper around this stump. And if you're asking yourself what stump, it's buried. So this dirt right here is rock hard, or at least it was rock hard. I know I had to create a hard pan in here, but now I can let that soften back up over time. It's not a super deep hard pan. I think I sunk this tiller maybe 3 inches. That's well within the means of this tiller. So I just wanted to break this up a little bit more because this was like walking on concrete. And you can see the rest of it. My turns are not quite as clean this year. I have new tiller fears of breaking teeth right now. So I was playing it cautiously up here. Basically, I almost just scuffed that. I didn't back in here and tighten the corners up. If I found good patches of clover, I was willing to leave it be. Another big rock. See, look at that. When you're dealing with root problems, that right there is going to hurt. Pretty good chicory plant right there. Good rotting material. And the next project will be to clean rocks out of here. And I turned up a rotting stump or two right here. So this will be removed as well and thrown into the burn pile for here. This area here had some, I finally was able to get into here now because I removed another stump that it finally just rotted out enough, and I broke it off by hand and got rid of it. So now I was able to add this little swat to tilling. I could have tilled this, but there's too much good clover in there for me to destroy, and I need some holdover food until these deer, or until the food plot itself can reestablish what it's doing. So that way, my theme is not to remove all the food if I can. And any rye that's still standing, I can come back in and remove that by hand, or a weed eater, something to remove the rye. Just however you feel like you need to handle that. There's no specific way to, that's one way better than the other. Just whatever you want to do. And we'll use the rye to cover up some bald spots here. And that's really a lot of what the island is right now until this biomass can really start chugging out up here, which is going to take longer than a standard food plot because you're dealing with trees. So a young chestnut that I grew from one of the seeds from the trees out in the field, and deer ate everything off, and now it's already suckered back. So we're in good shape. All right, guys, so planting season is done as far as spring and summer. The only remaining task other than picking rocks up is to reseed any areas that do not work. And that pretty much takes care of the planting for the season. There's a whole bunch of species I threw in here. Not all of these will be successful. One of the strategies that I did, when the further back this way I went, the heavier the vetch got as far as sowing rates. Another thing is soybean that I threw out of here, or threw out in this area, I avoided this back end. I know it's not going to succeed, at least not yet. So I am making sure that I give this soybean the best chance to perform like a legume. Of course, there is bacteria in the soil now, which is good. We had our first signs of that last year. I've reseeded with that green cover that had a new wave of bacteria, so I'm expecting better numbers and hopefully better plants, especially as bad as this soil has been. All right, guys, hope you enjoy these videos. Leave comments, like, and subscribe, and let me know how I'm doing. Have a good one.